How is your day? Anti Razik.
Para pam 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 para. Opening, let's go.
like Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we're checking in on the Knights of the Round Table series of kits here from SNA with their latest release here of Percival. Now, I will say to you guys, I am getting this early to review and share with you guys and share my thoughts about it. It is not actually released yet, so if you are going to be ordering it or if you've pre-ordered it, it is available for pre-order here at USA Gundam Store, but it's not going to be out for a little bit longer. This is just an early copy. It's been a little while since I've built an SNA kit. I did build one of their larger ones. I haven't built one of their kind of BE grade, so they're beyond exquisite grades, sort of like a high grade, but they definitely seem more complex than a high grade, but like a high grade, I guess, in their size, as far as I know. But there has been a number of these in the Knights of the Round Table line so far, but this is going to be my first experience with them, so I'm looking forward to it. Let's go ahead and get into it here for today's video. Right here on the front, you guys can see we have the typical box art design for this series. Really cool image over here on this side, our titling, and the labels up here at the top. There you can see it has that sort of like galaxy background there, and one of the gimmicks of this suit is that it's got all these swords, and we have some really cool effect parts for those as well. Now, this isn't the typical sort of like HG size box, but it's pretty thick here, as you can see. I think this is a bit thicker than some of the other ones in the line have been. And here you can see an image of the actual model kit built and painted there on a stand, and with the effect part that's going to hold the swords around there like that. On this end of the box here, we got a standing pose of the built and painted kit, and around on the other side, it's just going to be the box art there in full. We have some cool line art here on this side, and then on the back, some more images of the kit here in different poses using the swords, and again showing how the effect parts can hold the swords in different ways. And it is going to have a full inner frame here as well, so like I said, even though this is going to be sort of similar to like a high grade in terms of its size, it's definitely going to be a little bit more complex. So let's go ahead and open the box. Looks like we're gonna have like a tray box inside here. Really nice gold runner there right on top of plated gold. We'll take a closer look at the runners here in just a minute, and it is very full. As you can see, it's full up to the brim with all of the runners here inside. We do have some water slide decals included in here. It looks like this is separated by section of the body. Now, unfortunately, it's just labeled there in either, I'm not sure if that's Chinese or Japanese. I believe that's Chinese, so you can check on that, but I'm sure we have a decal guide in the manual. But I like that it's separated per section of the build. That's pretty cool. And you can see most of our decals here are going to be in either gray or white. And at first I thought that might be silver and not gray, but it doesn't look like they're silver. It's just normal gray. But there's our decal markings, and then our instruction manual, which is pretty thick here. On the back side, there's the parts list, and it looks like everything is in full color inside, even though the instructions actually like in black and white, but there's color in there showing the attachment points and all that. Going back up to the very front inside page is just right into the construction. I do like that it shows, like right here for the head, it shows you which runners you're going to use for that section of the build. I always like that. Kind of makes everything more streamlined. And so we're just going through the construction here, finishing up the body, then the backpack and the weapons. There you can see we have a bunch of different swords that are included. The included display base as well. And then here at the very back there is going to be our decal guide, showing where all those are going to be placed around there. And then we have some more information and images here on the back. It's basically kind of like what we saw on the outside of the box, but there's some cool stuff there, some nice posing ideas for you. So one more bit here. This is our base plate before we get into the runners. As you can see, just going to be in white, just a solid piece here, but some nice detail molded on the top. Definitely would benefit from some paint and or at least some panel lining on there for sure. Then as for the runners here, we have runner A and runner A1. There's a few runners that are like this, where it's like the just letter and then the letter and a number. So I'm not sure if these are meant to be like in this particular order anyway, but runner A, as you can see, is mostly hand parts here in a kind of medium gray color. A1 is in that darker brownish gray color here that we see on a lot of inner frame parts from Bandai kits as well. But as you can see, it's a bunch of inner frame and joint parts there. More inner frame parts here on runner B and B1. And as you can see, a lot of really nice detail on these frame parts. You can also get a sense of the size of it here, with this being obviously the frame parts for like the calves. And it does look like it's going to be HG size, maybe slightly larger, something maybe close to the size of like the HG Super Robot Wars kits. Runner C is more gray inner frame parts here. We just have two of the C runner. And then runner D is getting into some of the armor parts now. This is in a kind of off-white, light gray color there. Runner E is in a very nice lavender color here for some of the accents on the armor. And then runners F and F1 are the first two of our gold-plated runners. So here's runner F. Runner F1 here has some really nice, big, sharp parts on that. I really like the color of this molded gold as well, sort of like a champagne champagne gold kind of color. Some more armor parts now on runner G. These are going to be a bunch of the white pieces, and it does look really nice. We've got 2 of the G runner. Then we got runner H as well as runner H1 here for some more of the white parts. Runner I is going to be here in clear, obviously for our base connection arm, and then the effect parts for holding the swords there. Everything in a really nice clear. Runners J and J1 seem to be a bunch of the parts for the swords, and as you can see, these are also in gray. Kind of would have liked if these would have been in a different color, not the same color as the frame, but we'll see how they look on the completed kit. Runner K is our third and final runner of plated gold here, and it does look really nice. Runner L as well, and you can tell it looks like these last couple of runners is mostly parts for the swords and weapons, but there's more parts in white. Runner M has some clear parts here in a kind of like aqua blue-green sort of clear color. Looks really nice. And lastly, runner O, some more clear parts, mostly for like the clear cloak, cape sort of parts here in a kind of clear bluish purple. And if you're wondering if these clear parts are UV reactive, it looks like not really that much. You can see it kind of lighting up there a little bit, but not quite as much as it normally would if they were like particularly UV reactive, but it lights up kind of nicely. All right, guys, and here is the kit all built up. Super cool, just incredibly detailed. It looks fantastic. Very pointy too. Be careful, it's very pokey there. But if you guys missed the live stream, I did build this over on the USA Gundam TV channel, so check out that live build if you missed it. But this one was a lot of fun to put together. Very interesting build. It went together very smoothly and feels nice and sturdy in hand for a kit like this that like has a lot of parts and a lot of complexity. You don't want it to feel like it's just gonna like crumble and fall apart in your hands, right? And I definitely don't get the sense with this one. Really sturdy kit. Despite having all those little parts and everything on there, it doesn't feel like anything is going to be falling off or anything like that. So it's awesome. And we've got lots of really cool accessories here with this one as well. So let's go ahead and get right into it. And so as you can see, the kit can stand on its own perfectly fine. Even with that backpack, it is going to be a little bit back heavy, but we do have our included stand here. Now this piece is optional. You can remove that if you wanted to, but that's just basically going to act as like a stand for sticking a sword in there if you wanted to have it posing like with a sword in the stone sort of thing like that, right? And the clear arm for the base has a couple of different points of adjustment here for this at the base down here. A couple of points for articulation. The peg up here at the top is actually going to plug in at the base of the backpack. There's like a part right there. There's also a hard point underneath the waist section right here, but I think in most cases you're going to be using that one underneath the backpack. And then obviously we have these arms here with these attachment points, and each of these attachment points are a little bit different for each of the swords, and these can be adjusted at different points here along this curved piece, and these can also be adjusted out, or you can rotate them up and down, so you can kind of choose the position on these. You can also omit these parts entirely if you don't want to have these clear arms sticking out, like if you just want to have the kit there. So the base itself is pretty nice, very versatile. For the hands here, we've got a really nice set of hand options. You have closed fists, as well as a set of pointing finger hands like this. We got our open expressive hands, and on all of these, some really nice detail and very sharp fingertips on them. We've also got this set of like a Sailor Moon or Spider-Man magic casting hands here like this. And then 2 different types of weapon holding hands. These are going to be like very standard like HG style weapon holding hands here, pretty simple. And then we've got these here that are a little bit different, just kind of in the orientation of the thumb in particular, with it like sticking up like that. So these are going to look a bit nicer there for some options for the hands. There's a couple of spots on the kit where you just have option parts. So like here in the head, I have that gold piece for the eyes, but there is also a clear blue part for the eyes if you wanted to use that instead. I just figure the gold would be easier to see. It would stand out more, so that looks nice. Around here on the backpack as well, that clear blue part, there is an option for just using a gold part for that instead, but there's a gold part underneath. So with the gold plated part underneath that clear blue, it actually looks really cool. There you can see like some really nice shiny detail underneath the clear part, so definitely what I would recommend for that one. We'd also have this base adapter like connection piece here for if like you can't quite reach to the base there underneath the hip section, I guess is what that's meant to be for. And then we've got all of our cloak parts. Now there's 8 sections. Now you have like these main sections for the front and the back. And these are going to be put on by basically popping out that little circle gray part there on the front and back of the shoulders. You're going to take that off and then plug this on there in its place. Up inside the shoulder, there's a connection point there where you're going to plug these parts in, which will stick out the side from underneath the shoulder armor there. And then we've got these sections here, which are going to basically replace these parts of the backpack. So you have like the center section and these 2 wing sections of the backpack. You're going to take off those wing sections and replace them with these to have a couple more additional cloak pieces pieces out the back that still have the kind of similar motif of the white with the gold parts like what we have on here, but obviously like much smaller there, as you can see. And then of course we have the weapons. So you've got two of these scepters. These are going to be exactly the same, and you've got another option for these if you want to use a clear part for what is this like a light purple part there at the very tip of that. You can have a clear part instead. These are quite long and pretty cool here at the end. You have a little bit of articulation. Those can kind of open up there like that. I think at the maximum width opened up like that much, then you can close them basically entirely like that, and a pretty good length too compared to the height of the kit. As you can see, they're definitely going to be quite a bit taller. And let's go through our 7 different sword options here. So you got this one. This is kind of like the most substantial one, big. You have a lot of gold parts here at the base near the handle there on the blade itself, and then clear parts on the side as well. So quite large here, not in any particular order, but just going through the rest of these. Then here's a sword option number 2. No gold on this one, but some really nice clear parts there on the blade. Similarly here for the third one, no gold, but you have some clear parts there near the handle, and a kind of a different shape overall, like a wider with a single blade side here with a circular design here around the handle there. So that one's pretty cool. Option 4 here, this one doesn't have a white piece for the blade, but the blade is just entirely clear like that with these gold parts in and around this really cool leaf or feather sort of looking pattern there at the base above the handle. So really cool design for that one. And this one was kind of the opposite of that, no clear, but instead like a large gold piece here. It's actually 2 pieces back to back there for that, with some really nice pattern in the gold, white parts on the sides, and then the handle here. Most of the handles are just all in gray, except for that first one that we saw that had a gold piece at the end. But here's this one, no clear on this one, but again, just a long gold, a little bit thinner blade here for this one. Some nice gold pieces at the base. And then this one here, probably the most unique out of the bunch because it's the only one that's kind of like very differently shaped like this one here. No clear parts on this one, a little bit of gold on the back side of that, but a pretty unique blade design here for this one as well. So obviously just a ton of accessories that you have with this, and as I was saying before, the kit itself feels very solid. Just to kind of give it a shake test, I know people have different opinions about you know, shake tests in model reviews, but it's just like super solid here for this. And the articulation is going to be that everything that you would expect. As I was talking about during the live build of this, even though it's like closer in size to an RG and of that complexity, building this, it honestly felt more like building in a master grade than a real grade. I don't know, it's just kind of very slight sort of difference, I guess, just kind of in the feel of the way that the kit is designed, but some nice articulation here with a double bend at the knee, separation of this knee armor here. And I really like how these purple parts of the knee and the like side of the leg, how those kind of make this one kind of purple accent here on the side of the leg, but then that's broken when you bend the knee there like that. You've got the winged shoes down here, you've got full detail up underneath the feet, you've got a nice toe bend, the toe will point a little bit down like that, and then up like so. This ankle armor part like above the ankle right there will move a little bit. The hip joint, as you can see in there, is the type that where you can slide the hip joint more like down into the front for like a higher articulation frontwards, and we can push that back up into there. Also, this part here where the front skirt is connected, this one can also come apart like that for when you're doing a more kind of extreme ab crunch here, which can be very extreme, and you can move that front skirt farther out of the way, almost to the point that it's just kind of like a little too extreme in that sense, but you can move that as needed. The back skirt's just kind of this big piece. They're like relatively simple, but still like some really nice detail all around here on this. These parts here on the side of the torso are able to move independently. So you have like the torso and then the arms in between that. You have this section right here that can move. There's not really any reason for that to move necessarily. It might as well just be a fixed part or fixed right to the torso, but it's kind of cool anyway. Though it is actually connected onto the part that moves when you move the arm. So when you bend the arm forward like that, it will actually take that whole section with it. So I guess if that was attached to the torso, that part wouldn't move with the arm. So that is kind of cool. The backpack as well, similar to the back skirt, is relatively simple. It doesn't really necessarily do a whole lot. You can kind of move it up and down a little bit there, and these parts here on the side, these gold parts can be pushed in and out a little bit there like that. And as I said, this is kind of more comparable to like a 144 scale Gundam, but as you can see, it's still going to be quite a bit larger. It's definitely not quite as large as like an MG, but sort of in between, just because obviously it's a very different, like proportionally as well, but it's like similar, but definitely much more complex than any HG. Like I said, more closer to either an RG or an MG. But the main thing, of course, is how well is it able to pull off different poses? How cool does it look? How good does it look in different poses? And yeah, I mean, as you're gonna see here, taking a look at a couple of sample poses, it looks absolutely fantastic. The display base works super well with with 7 different swords plus the other 2 scepter weapons that it has, giving you a total of 9 different weapon options. Obviously, you're only ever going to be able to hold 2 at a time. It would have been cool maybe to have like if this part of the design was to have like 2 extra arms as like part of the backpack or something. Could have been pretty interesting, but obviously you're going to have a lot of weapons that you can't use in the hands all at once, so having that kind of system there where you can use the base and have them like floating around the suit or being like kind of used as like funnel weapons or bit weapons, sort of, as it were. It's definitely a really cool feature, and it's nice to have everything included in the box where you don't have to buy like an extra stand or anything like that separate. You've got everything you need included, and the kit itself and the weapons and everything look absolutely fantastic. The gold looks great, the purple accents look great, so the colors of everything look really nice. It definitely could benefit from some panel lining on there, so there's a lot of really nice detail that especially in like the white areas and then the gray areas as well, especially like on the weapons. There's a lot of just like gray around the handles in particular, where a little bit of panel lining, a little bit of detail painting would definitely help those to stand out even more, like a lot of the details to stand out. And then you do have the included water slide decals as well, and I mean, all of that put together, I think this is one of those kits very similar to an RG, I guess, in this sense, where it's going to look really good just straight out of the box, just with like minimal work done to it. I talked about that during the live stream as well, is that like the real grade line has kind of always been designed with the idea for the kits to look like as good as possible straight out of the box. That's why you have like the multi-tone colors like on most of the designs, things like that, and just a lot of surface detail and everything. So I get a really similar feeling from this kit, is that it just is going to look really good straight out of the box with just either like little to no extra work on it. Really, you kind of don't really need to do. I mean, and just as you're seeing it now, this is without doing anything, without doing panel lining or decals or anything else, and it looks fantastic. But if you do want to just do like a little bit more, it's going to look that much better. Or if this is something that you did want to go like fully in on it and paint everything, it's just going to look even that much better on top of that. But anyway, awesome kit for sure. Really great first experience here with the Knights of the Round Table series from SNA. For me, definitely looking forward to future releases, and really glad I was able to get one of these early to share with you guys. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. What do you think about the design? What do you think about this series of kits? I know a lot of people are really enjoying it, so I hope that you guys definitely check it out. As I said before, you can pre-order this here at USA Gundam Store at the moment. It's available for pre-order on the site, and we've got other kits available there from SNA as well, so you can check all that out on the website. The link is down in the video description below. And as always, guys, thanks so much for checking out the video here today. Hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, make sure that you're subscribed. Make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed it, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.
Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera kepada bangsa mekanika. Bertemu lagi kita hari ini.
Aduh. Nggak pula, boleh. Mana?